All right, 511, solving linear and quadratic systems. So we're going to go through and talk about how to do this algebraically and briefly talk about how to do it graphically. Just for organizational purposes, we have our organized boxes. So in box 1, we're going to go through the steps of solving algebraically. And so step 1 is to set each equation equal to each other. And the reason why we can do that is because you should already have one equation that says y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And then another one that will say y equals, we'll just do a line, mx plus b. They're already both equal to y, right? So if two things are equal to the same thing, then they have to be equal to each other. Does that make sense? Okay. Then we're going to combine like terms so that one side equals 0. And we're going to use all of our methods of solving. So solve by factoring or completing the square, the quadratic formula, whatever one we choose. And then we're going to plug the x values in to find the y values. And it does not matter which original you plug back into. Okay, so once we have our x's, then we plug back in to solve for our y's. Capiche? All right. So here's our example. So we have y equals x squared minus 7x minus 6. And we have y equals 8 minus 2x. So they're already both set equal to y. That's good. That's good. So step 1, we're going to make them equal to each other. So we have x squared minus 7x minus 6 equals 8 minus 2x. Step 2 is to make one side equal to 0. So combine like terms. Subtract 8 and add 2x. So what I do to one side, I do to the other. Subtract 8 and add 2x. And so for step 2, I'm left with x squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. For step 3, we're going to solve. Again, you can solve by whatever means you want. I'm going to try by factoring. The reason why I'm going to try is because this is a simple trinomial. Meaning I'm going to ask myself what multiplies to give me negative 14, but adds to give me negative 5. What two numbers will multiply to give me negative 14, but add to give me negative 5? Perfect. So my factors are x plus 2 and x minus 7. Okay. When you're solving by factoring, that means you're going to take each factor and set it equal to 0. So x plus 2 equals 0. X minus 7 equals 0. So my x's are x equals negative 2 and x equals positive 7. All right. For every x, there must be a y. So I have my x's. I'm going to take these and plug in to solve for my y. And it doesn't matter which one of these you use. I typically use the smaller one. So I'm going to use y equals 8 minus 2x. So for the first one, I'm going to look for f of negative 2. So 8 minus 2 times negative 2 equals 8 plus 4, which equals 12. Agreed? Then I'm going to do f of 7. So f of 7 equals 8 minus 2 times 7, which equals 8 minus 14, which equals negative 6. So my solutions are negative 2, comma, 12, and 7, comma, negative 6 are the solutions to that system. How do we feel? So is it any new skills? No, it's just combining the skills that you already have. Cool? All right. Let's do a quadratic and a quadratic. Now, I'm going to preface this that sometimes some of the numbers may not be friendly. And if that's the case, then you can solve graphically. Just make sure when you're solving graphically, it's equal to y. You graph the first equation, graph the second equation, and then you make sure your graphs are in view. So if you got to zoom in and out, and find the intersections of the two graphs. That's essentially what you're doing, okay? And then round to the nearest two decimal places if necessary. So that's just how you do it graphically. Now, I am all for pretty much to be done algebraically, but I gave you the steps graphically in case you want to lean more that way. All right, so we're gonna do this one again algebraically. They're already both set equal to y, check. So that means I can set them equal to each other. So negative x squared minus 10x plus 12 equals positive x squared minus 6x minus 18. I'm going to combine like terms. I would like to have positive x's, so I'm going to move my x squared plus x squared plus 10x minus 12. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other, plus x squared plus 10x minus 12. And that leaves me with 0 equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 30. All right. So step 2 is done. Step 3 is to factor. I can divide everything by 2. So that leaves me with 0 equals 2x squared, because I'm dividing u by 2, u by 2, u by 2. X squared plus 2x minus 15. And now I only have a simple trinomial. So I'm asking myself what multiplies to give me negative 15, but adds to give me 2. That would be x plus 5 times x minus 3. So to solve, I know that x plus 5 equals 0 and x minus 3 equals 0. So my x's are x equals negative 5 and x equals positive 3. Step 4 is to solve for my y's. Doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to use the bottom one. So I'm going to look for f of negative 5, which equals negative 5 squared minus 6 times negative 5 minus 18. This gives me 25 plus 30 minus 18, which equals 25 plus 12, which equals 37. And now I have to do f of 3. So f of 3 equals 3 squared minus 6 times 3 minus 18, which gives me 9 minus 18, which equals negative 9 minus 18, which equals negative 27. So my two solutions are, I'm going to write it here, is that okay? So my solution are -5, 37, and 3, -27. All right, how do we feel? So again, step 1, we set each equation equal to each other because they were both equal to y. 2, we combine like terms so that one side equals 0. 3, we ended up solving by factoring because it was a simple trinomial that worked. And then 4, we plugged in the x values to solve for our y values. All right, so on your assignment, you have 4 problems only. The first 2, I'm going to say you have to solve algebraically. The second 2, if you can graphically do it if you choose to, but you're encouraged to do it algebraically. When you are done, that's it, and that's all I got. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.